राधिका प्रेयान् मधवो राधिका धवः तस्मादपि गरीयान्यो कृपालुर्मे जगद्गुरुः जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे श्वभिज्ञः स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदा य आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रणोति तस्मै तग्वंह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Eternally devoted souls, let's sing from Bhajan book number 2, page number 109, top of the page. Book 2, page 109, पृष्ठ संख्या 109. बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि चैतन्य हरि
बोलो गौर हरि चैतन्य हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि बोलो
बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि चैतन्य 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 हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि बोलो
बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो रसिकन के सिर मोर हरि
बोलो रसिकन के सिर मोर हरि
बोलो रसिकन के सिर मोर हरि
बोलो रसिकन
ताली बजाइए
के
Please clap your hands.
सिर मोर हरि
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 बोलो बोलो रे मना रे मना रे मना गौर हरि बोलो
बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनी तनी चित चोर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनितानी चित चोर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनितानी चित चोर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनितानी चित चोर हरि
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 बोलो ब्रज बनितानी चित चोर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनितानी चित चोर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि बोलो
बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि गौर हरि गौर हरि बोलो
गौर हरि गौर हरि गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि गौर हरि गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि गौर हरि गौर हरि
बोलो रसिकन के सिर मोर हरि
बोलो रसिकन के सिर मोर हरि
सिर मोर हरि
सिर मोर हरि
बोलो रसिकन के सिर मोर हरि
बोलो रसिकन के सिर मोर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि
बोलो गौर
बोलिए
हरि
बोलो गौर 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 हरि गौर हरि 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 गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि बोलो
बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना गौर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनी तनी चित चोर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनी तनी चित चोर हरि
चित चोर हरि
चित चोर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनी तनी चित चोर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनी तनी चित चोर हरि
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 बोलो ब्रज बनी तनी चित चोर हरि
बोलो ब्रज बनी तनी चित चोर हरि
बोलो रसिकन के सिर मोर हरि
बोलो रसिकन के सिर मोर हरि
सिर मोर हरि
सिर मोर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि
बोलो गौर हरि
बोलो बोलो रे मना 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 गौर हरि
बोलिए गौरांग महाप्रभु की जय श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय Devoted listeners, now I humbly request your full attention. If you have your phone with you, please make sure not to use it during the lecture so that you may be very attentive. Today's topic is Krishna, our best friend, our true beloved. We all search for a beloved. We all have a need for a friend, a beloved. We want others to be benevolent towards us. So we search all over the world. And we create our own little world, comprised of parents, spouse, siblings, children, friends and family members. We look towards them to give us their love. We want them to be benevolent toward us. However, as long as a person has not received genuine happiness, immeasurable happiness, ever-increasing happiness, he cannot be benevolent towards anyone else. He is desirous of happiness for himself. And as long as he does not have that happiness, he will look for it everywhere in the world. He cannot give it because he simply does not have it. But we are in the habit of asking one another or expecting from one another that they would give us happiness. We expect happiness from others. They expect happiness from us. They want us to be benevolent toward them. We want them to be benevolent toward us. But the Vedas, the eternal Vedas, the infallible Vedas, the Vedas in which there is no mistake, because the Vedas are untouched by faulty human logic. They are manifested from the natural breath of God. So the Vedas, the eternal Vedas say that no one in the world can make you happy, no one in the world can give you true love, no one can be benevolent towards you. There's only one who can be benevolent towards us. There's only one who loves us selflessly, and that is Sri Krishna. In Brihadaranyukopanishad, there's a very lengthy mantra. Nava are. Nava are patyasya kamaya patih priyo. Nava are patyuh kamaya Patih priyo bhavatyatmanastu kamaya patih priyo bhavati. Na va are jaya yai kamaya jaya priya bhavatyatmanastu kamaya jaya priya bhavati. Nava are putranam kamaya putraha priya bhavantyatmanastu kamaya putraha priya bhavanti. And it goes on to say many things, and then it says at the end, Nava are sarvasya kamaya sarvam priyam bhavatyatmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Atma vare drashtavyaha shrotavyo mantavyo nididhyasitavyo Maitreyi. Yajnavalkya is instructing his wife Maitreyi. O Maitreyi, know that there is no husband in the world who works for the happiness of his wife. There is no wife who is doing anything for the happiness of the husband. There is no child who works for the happiness of the parents. And there is no mother or father in the world who works for the happiness of the child. Everyone is searching for their own happiness. But that doesn't ring true, does it? We say, I've seen this woman, what an amazing woman she is. Her husband was so ill, and she nursed him back to health. She hardly slept. She was constantly serving him, giving him medication, inspiring him, making him soups and whatnot. She did everything she could. She had many sleepless nights. She would wake all night long. If that's not benevolence, what is it? A mother takes care of her newborn. Mother and father, they hardly have any sleep because that newborn has taken over. 24 hours a day, the newborn needs to be paid attention to. They need to be attentive to the newborn's every little need. And the newborn cannot speak, so mother and father, they need to think about what may be bothering their child. If the child cries, they need to figure it out. Is it because of hunger? Is it because of indigestion? Is it the diaper is dirty? What is it? Is the child colic? Whatever, what is the reason? Though if that's not benevolence on part of the parents, then what is it? The scriptures call it selfishness. Selfishness. The wife who is not sleeping all night long, who is not sleeping at all, she's maybe sleeping 2 hours in a whole day, she is taking care of her husband, she is selfish? Scriptures and saints say yes. Because she is concerned about her own happiness. And she's thinking about reciprocation as well. When I get sick, then I want him to serve me as I'm serving him. So having this in her mind, she serves her husband. If I don't serve him, why would he serve me? If I don't help him right now, he wouldn't help me at all. It's for this reason she serves him. And another reason is, God forbid that he should die. Then I would lose my happiness. All the happiness I get from him, I will no longer have it. So I must serve him. Parents have great expectations from their children. I must take care of this child. This child is going to bring me so much happiness, so much joy, so much, I'm going to be so proud. This child is going to make me proud. A young couple was arguing. The wife was saying, our child is going to become a doctor. The man, her husband, was saying, no, my dear, he's going to be an engineer like me. She said, no, like me, he's going to be a doctor. I tell you, he's going to be a doctor. He said, I'm telling you, he's not going to be a doctor, he's going to be an engineer. And their voices were rising as the argument was getting more and more heated. There happened to be a walker by, a passerby. They were walking in the park and they're arguing like this. So the passerby said, excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing you. I'm not spying but may I put in my 2 cents worth? Can I just tell you what I think? Because I do have children. They said, yes, go ahead. And he said, children have a mind of their own, so whether your child becomes a doctor or an engineer, leave it up to the child. That's my suggestion. So what does your child say? They say, we don't have children. So why are you talking like this? Well, when we do have children, we're planning on that when we do have children, that child, the firstborn, is going to be a doctor, she said. No, engineer. And they keep on arguing with each other. He's going to make me so proud, the mother is thinking, by becoming a doctor. He's going to make me so proud, he's going to follow in my footsteps when he becomes an engineer, thinks the father. So many expectations, and the child isn't even born yet. Now, what to speak of the expectations once the child is born? My son, my child is going to be like this. My child is going to be the best child of all. My child is going to make me so proud. My child is going to succeed in life. So many expectations, parents set themselves up for disappointments. The right way to think is, we will do the best for our child, but then this child is going to bring his or her own sanskars. She's going to bring her own sanskars with her, and then she will have her own choices in life, but we shall do our best. We will do our duty. We will not look at we will not think about the consequences. We will just do our duty. We will not be attached to the fruits of our actions. So there is always a desire to gain something, gain happiness from our loved ones, from the nearest and dearest ones. But they cannot make us happy. We cannot make them happy, they cannot make us happy, because happiness is something they don't have. Happiness is something that neither one of us has. They don't have it, we don't have it. And yet we claim to have that happiness. And we say, I will make you so happy. But it's all a false promise. It's a false promise. We cannot give someone something that we don't have. A man is desperate because his daughter is getting married and he doesn't have enough money. So he asks for a loan, he asks for some charity, and there's a man who comes up and says, I will give you everything I have. Would you? Kind sir, will you really give me everything you have? I'll give you everything I have. Please do give. Thank you so much. And the man gives $10. $10? I'm a beggar, and that's all I have. But I've given you everything I have. That's all I have. So he's not wrong. He's given everything he has, but what he has is only $10. That's nothing. So we also say, I'll give you everything I have, but what we have is nothing. We don't have that genuine happiness that will satisfy anyone. Sri Krishna is the only one. Therefore, saints have said, Ek bharoso, ek bal, ek aas vishwas, ek ram ghan syam hit chatak tulsi das. Saint Tulsi Das says, I have faith in only one. Call him Ram, call him Ghanshyam. He is the one and only for me. Sri Krishna, who has nothing to attain, he has everything. Even the one who surrenders to him receives everything from Sri Krishna. So Sri Krishna and his saints don't need to do anything. They don't need to gain anything. Therefore, they don't need to do anything. Na me parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptamavaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. Bhagavad Gita. Shri Krishna says, Arjun, there is nothing for me to do. You see, we perform many actions. Reason? Because we have something to gain. We want to get something, we want to attain happiness, so we keep on doing something or the other. But what does God have to attain? Nothing. So Shri Krishna says, I don't need to do anything, but I still do many things for the sake of my children. Whatever Shri Krishna does is for our sake. Whatever his saints, whatever the God-realized souls do, it is for the benevolent. It is to be benevolent towards the world. They are truly benevolent because they have nothing to gain. Someone who attains God-realization has nothing left to do. Tasya karyam na vidyate. He has no work left to do. All the work has been done. He has received unlimited, immeasurable happiness that he will have forever and ever. And that happiness is going to increase with every passing moment. Please keep that in mind. That happiness he has received is going to keep on increasing with every passing moment. And it will never come to an end. It will keep on increasing. It will continue to increase for all eternity. And it will never be complete. It will never come to a standstill. And we can understand that this personality can be benevolent. Just as before he had attained happiness, he could not do anything for anyone else. He could only do things for himself. In the same way now, he cannot do anything for himself because there's nothing left to do. Now everything he does is for the sake of others. But we see these saints when they come to this world, we see, just like Sri Krishna says, I do many works, they also working. They do many works. They write books, they give lectures, they talk to people, they perform so many actions. But we ask them, why are you doing anything? Okay, I won't do anything, I'll just sit down. Why are you sitting? I'll stand. Why are you standing? I'll lie down. Why are you lying down? Okay, I'll talk. Why are you talking? Why are you speaking? You should not be doing anything because you have done everything. There's nothing left for you to do. Why are you working? I am working because I'm looking for happiness. I'm doing something or the other 24 hours a day, and that's because I want happiness. Why are you working? Sri Maharaj gives a wonderful example to answer this question. Why does a saint work? Why is he still working? Take some butter in a skillet and put it on a lit stove. The stove is on, the fire is there, and you put the skillet on it and you put butter in it. The butter will melt. As the butter melts, it gets rid of its impurities. As it cooks, it gets rid of its impurities. And as it is cooking, it makes crackling sounds, doesn't it? Crackling sounds. And those crackling sounds come fast and furious, very fast. And then as the butter cooks more and more, it becomes more and more pure. So the sound that's coming from it, the crackling sounds, they are not so fast and not so loud. They get smaller and not so frequent. And once the butter is completely cooked, all the impurities have gone. Now it's become ghee. There's no more sound. There's no more crackling sound because there's nothing left to do. This butter has become ghee. It's become pure. All the impurities have left. And that's like a saint. The saint has become quiet. In other words, there's nothing left for him to do. But why is he still working? You might say, well, I heard the ghee and I heard the crackling sounds coming again. Why? It's because someone put raw dough in it to make puri, to fry the puris. So when the raw dough went into it, kacha atta, then the ghee spoke again. It made sounds again. Not for itself, but to cook that raw dough, to make it into puri. Once the puri was made, again there was silence. The ghee was silent again. Until you put once again, you put raw dough in it, and then it speaks again. And once the puri is cooked, it becomes quiet again. So in the same way, the saint, when he's working to help us, to help the world. If he does not give discourses, then how would we learn? If he does not speak to us, if he does not explain difficult concepts of the Vedas to us, how will we get rid of our doubts? How will we get any clarity? All the actions that he performs are for the sake of others, because he has nothing left to do. A devotee asked Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj, Maharajji, what are your activities throughout the day? Sri Maharajji said, I do whatever is needed to do, whatever I need to do to take a person towards God. That is what I do all day long. That's my daily activity. Those are my daily activities. I do whatever I have to do to take people towards God. That's all that a saint does. There is no selfish bone in his body. There is no self-interest to fulfill through anyone. God has given him immeasurable happiness, unlimited knowledge. Everything God has, now the saint has. So tasmin sajjane bheda bhavat. There is no difference between God and the one who has attained God. No difference between God and a saint. So in the world, there can be no one who is our true friend, our true beloved, our benevolent to us. No one can be benevolent to us. This does not mean that everybody in the world is evil, not by any means. We are completely helpless. We cannot help, we cannot do anything for the happiness of another because we simply don't have happiness to give. Until we attain liberation from Maya, we cannot be benevolent towards others, even though it may be seen that a person is building orphanages. He has built 10 orphanages. He has built 50 hospitals. He's always feeding people. He's spending his entire time helping others. What's his self-interest? It makes him happy to do all this. It satisfies him. It gives him great satisfaction to do this. Or perhaps he wants to attain Swargalok and he's working towards that. There has to be some selfish motive or the other. But when we look at such a person, we say completely selfless. What to speak of humans? We even say I've heard people say, my dog loves me selflessly. Even a human cannot love us selflessly. How can a dog love anyone selflessly? You give dog a nice, comfortable home to live in. You give the dog a shelter and food, water, affection, and the dog loves you back. It's not selfless. But in the world we see that it seems that there are people who are working selflessly, but it cannot be. If they're controlled by Maya, there has to be a self-interest. So Sri Krishna is our true friend and our selfless friend, selfless beloved. He loves us without any expectations. He does not give his grace. He does not do favors for the one who believes in him or who is completely surrendered to him, he's even benevolent to those who don't have faith in him. He's benevolent to those who are not at all surrendered to him. He doesn't differentiate that you do believe in me and you don't. So for you, I'll provide air, water, sunshine, food, clothing. And for you, nothing, mister. Mr. Atheist, every time you drink water from my world, in my world, when you drink water, that water will turn to poison. So go ahead and drink the water. How dare you not believe in me? How dare you become an atheist? No such thing. Sri Krishna gives grace to everyone, to all his children, whether they accept him as the father and true friend and beloved or not, whether or not. Whether they praise him or they give him gali, they abuse him verbally. He is such a selfless friend. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya, say the Vedas. He is our eternal friend. He is the eternal friend of the individual soul, the Jivatma. And he keeps on working for us. And we give no thought. We give no thought to the fact that he is helping us in so many ways. So many ways. How much time do we take out to think about this? Sri Krishna has helped me so much. God has helped me so much. How is it that when I didn't even have teeth, when I was a newborn, how is it that I survived? Oh, he created milk within my mother's body so I could drink that milk. But have you ever thought, how is it that a child even knows how to suck that milk? God gives that newborn the memory from previous lives. Otherwise, every newborn would die, because who is there to teach the newborn what to do, how to drink the milk? God is helping us in ways that we can never even imagine. And how often do we think about all this? He's serving us each and every moment. He's such a friend, selfless friend. He's the one who is ours, who is truly ours. Everyone else can claim to be our friends, but they cannot be true friends. But Sri Krishna is. But we might become hesitant, and Sri Krishna, the Supreme Lord of innumerable universes, Sankhya Chetra Jasam Astina Vishwanam Kadachana, Brahma, Vishnu, Shivadi Nam Tatha Sankhya Vidyate. Devi Bhagavad Puran says that you may one day succeed. It's impossible, but you might just succeed in counting the grains, the particles of dust that exist in the world, but you cannot, absolutely cannot, count the innumerable universes that are part of this creation, this formidable creation. And Sri Krishna is the Lord and the Master of these innumerable universes. How do I form a relationship with him? How can I? I'm like a beggar, and he is the Lord of Lords. How can I have any connection with him? So we are told by the true lovers of Sri Krishna, the true saint, the genuine saints, we're told by the Guru, look, don't be hesitant to go close to him, because he's not just God. Don't think of him as being God. You know he's God, but put that in the back of your mind. In the forefront of your mind, just think, he is my merciful master, my mother and father, and my eternal friend, and my own child, and my very own beloved. Have these 4 relationships with him. Strengthen these 4 relationships with him. Think of him to be your everything, your mother, father, master, friend, child, and most of all, your beloved. And also, Sri Krishna is the same, Narayan in Vaikuntha Lok is the same as Sri Krishna. But you don't want to think about, you don't want to do Rup Dhyan of Narayan in Vaikuntha Lok, because there's majesty there. And there's Sri Krishna in Dwarika, he's the king of Dwarika. You don't want to love him. You don't want to do Rup Dhyan of Dwarikadhish Krishna. You don't want to do Rup Dhyan of Sri Krishna who is in Mathura. You don't want to even, you want to think about Sri Krishna who's in Vrindavan, but not just in Vrindavan. Go further. You don't want to just think about Sri Krishna who's in Vrindavan, and you don't want to think about Sri Krishna who's in the Kunj, the groves, the pleasure groves of Vrindavan. You want to be a devotee of, you want to think about, do Rup Dhyan of Sri Krishna who is in Nikunj, in the very personal groves, pleasure groves of Vrindavan. He should be your Ishtadev. He's the one you should regard as your friend. He's the one who will never leave you. So don't think about the majestic Narayan. Do not think about Dwarikadhish Krishna, because there's a lot of majesty in him. In Mathura there is sweetness, but not so much sweetness as majesty. And then in Vrindavan there is nectar, but then there's greater nectar in Sri Krishna who is performing pastimes in the Kunj, in the groves. But then there's even more happiness and even greater nectar to be had from Sri Krishna who is in the inner groves, Nikunj. He is the Ishtadev. So there was a holy man, a devotee of Sri Krishna. He was an old man. And he started living in Vrindavan. His devotion, he worked on his devotion grew to amazing heights. And there came a point when he would see Sri Krishna, he would see Shyam Sundar in front of him, a few feet away. So he would rush towards him. And then he would say, no, he's not here. Oh, he's gone over there. Then he would rush towards that side. Oh, where's that trickster? He's gone somewhere. Oh, he's over there. And he would run in that direction. Oh, he's climbed a tree. And all day long he would be seeing Sri Krishna like this and running towards him to catch him. So one day he saw Sri Krishna in the bushes, standing near the bushes. And he rushed towards Sri Krishna. And his matted locks got stuck. They got tangled in the brambles, in the bushes. But this devotee did not untangle his hair. He was going to, but then he thought, oh, I think he likes to see me like this. My Ishtadev, Nikunj Wale Shri Krishna, Shyam Sundar, he likes to see me like this. So I will not move. I'll just keep on standing like this. Some people came by, they saw him, they said, we can help you. He said, stop, don't touch me. This is between husband and wife. What? What husband, what wife? He's my beloved, and if anyone's going to touch me, it is going to be he. They said, Pagal hai? A madman. All we wanted to do was to help him. Some more people came. Again, he said, stay away from me. They all left. Then Sri Krishna had to come. Sri Krishna had to come to him, but he came in the form of a very old man. And he said, Babaji, why are you standing like this? And he said, what business? Is this your business? This is none of your business. Just go along. No, who are you waiting for over here? My beloved, Nikunj Wale Shyam Sundar. And that old man, Sri Krishna, he said, I am your beloved. And this devotee started to laugh. You are my beloved. Have you seen your face in the mirror? You are my beloved. Sri Krishna had to reveal his true form. He gave divine eyes to this devotee so that the devotee could see this is Krishna. But he was very clever. He said, how do I know you are Sri Krishna from Nikunj. I'm telling you, no, I need someone to attest this fact. If it is indeed a fact, I need Radharani to vouch for you. How do I know? You may be Sri Krishna from Dwarika, you may be Sri Krishna from Mathura, you may be Sri Krishna from Vrindavan or from Kunj, but I want, my Ishtadev is Sri Krishna from Nikunj. Sri Krishna smiled, he accepted defeat, and Radharani had to come. She said, no, he is Nikunj wale Sri Krishna. So he is our beloved. And he is so merciful that he never leaves us. We have not always had the human form. Uncountable times we have been born in the form of a dog, a cat, a monkey, a donkey, a mosquito. We have lived in the dirtiest of gutters. We have been in every form of life, but he did not leave us. He didn't say, you know what, when you go to the human form, then I'll come. Bye for now. He's not a fair weather friend. He stayed with us, no matter which form of life we went into. When we were sent to Naraklok, the hellish abode, he was also there with us. When we went to Swarg, he was there. He has always been with us. He is a true friend. He's not opportunistic friend. He's not like that. He is a true friend, always with us. Always gracing, always helping, always being benevolent towards us. So knowing this, what should my relationship be like with my family members? Should I just fight with them and say, you selfish people? Not at all. If we call them selfish, we are also selfish. They're good people. But how can anyone give us happiness if they don't have it for themselves? So we must do our duty towards family. Do your duty towards your family members. Duty and attachment are often lumped together. People say, duty, attachment, same thing. Two different things. Duty without attachment. Do your duty in the world, but keep the mind attached to Shyam Sundar. Your loved one, let's say your loved one is ill. So do whatever you need to do. Let's say a woman's child, her daughter is very ill. So if she acts with attachment, she'll say, "Hi, main mar gayi, oh my God, what will happen, I'm gone, if anything happens to my child." She's not helping the child. She's not doing her duty. She takes the child to the doctor, gets the child the proper care, proper medication, proper diagnosis to begin with, then she is doing her duty. She's doing her duty, but without attachment, and duty without attachment is always much better. The consequences are much better. The duty is done properly, I should say, when it is without attachment. What happens in attachment is that the heart melts. And then we cannot remain neutral. We often don't do what we need to do because our heart has melted with attachment, due to attachment. Let's say there's a judge, and in her court a case comes, and a property case, and one of the litigants is her own brother. She'll step away from this case. I cannot judge this because one of them is my own brother. So another judge takes her place. A surgeon will refuse to work on her own child. I cannot do surgery on my own son. But why not? You are the best there is. No, my hands are trembling, don't you see? I cannot do surgery on him. Another surgeon has to step in. So you see, when there's attachment, our duty is disturbed. So Shri Krishna says, do your duty in the world, so you do it well, and keep your mind attached to me. We often think that there's, such a problem. What do I do? Do I love God or do I love... God says, there's two different departments. One is godly department, the other is a worldly department. The world says, what? Do your duty. Everyone in your family says, do your duty. And God says, don't do your duty towards me, love me. The world needs us to do our duty towards the world, and Shri Krishna says, I want your love. So there's no dilemma, there's no confusion. Can you imagine a scenario like this? You tell your family, I'm not getting out of bed, I'm just going to think loving thoughts about all of you. So you see to your breakfast, lunch, dinner, you just see to you do dishes, you do the laundry. I'm going to lay down here all day long. I'm just going to think very loving thoughts about you. Oh, I love you guys so much. What will the family say? What will we do with your love? Are we going to make pickle out of it? Or ice cream out of it? What are we going to do with your love? We don't want your love. Do the work. Make breakfast. Children say, make breakfast, mommy. That's how you show your love towards us. Give us our clothes to wear. Take the clothes out of the dryer. We don't have any clothes to wear. Give us the clothes. We have to go to school. Do things for us. That is enough. That means you love us, okay? That's it. Don't lay in bed all day long thinking loving thoughts about us. That's craziness. So what does the world really want? Everybody in your world wants you to do your duty towards them. And Shri Krishna says, go ahead, do your duty towards them. Don't give them your mind. Give me your mind. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya cha. Oh Arjun, do your duty physically, but keep your mind engaged in me at all times. Sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara. Think of me all the time while doing your duty, and that is fighting the battle. So there is no confusion. And this fact that Shri Krishna is our true friend, our loving friend, He's the one who's benevolent to us, He's our true beloved. Our mind has to understand this. The mind has to accept this. First, the mind has to hear it. The mind has to think about it. The mind has to make up its mind. The mind has to decide. The intellect will have to decide. So we have to tell our mind, look, understand this. Shri Krishna is the only one who is yours. So do your duty towards your family and your friends and your society, your country, but give your heart to God. Keep your mind engaged in Shri Krishna alone. For He is the one who was always yours and who will always remain with you. He has never forsaken you for half a moment, and He will never forsake you, ever. He's always looking at you. He's the eternal witness. He's Sarvasakshi. He never takes His eyes off you. He's always looking without blinking, because any moment that the individual soul becomes surrendered, Shri Krishna says, then I will have to give that individual soul many, many gifts. So He never takes His eyes off us. He is such a loving and benevolent friend. Oh, my mind, understand this. So our mind has to understand this. Our mind has to accept this. And then everything will be fixed. Once our mind understands this, then we won't have to do anything else. This is the message of Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj, the message extracted from the Vedas, the Purans, and so many other scriptures. Boliye Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki Jai, Srimad Yugal Sarkar ki Jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai